Hi, welcome back. Certainly glad you could join us today. I thought today I'd show you a little painting that is so simple that even if you've never painted, you can do this one, guaranteed. In fact, it's one of the little paintings that you see in the opening. I thought maybe we'd show you how that one was done. So, I tell you what, got here. Today I have primed slate rock, and I've painted it with black gesso and allowed the black gesso to dry completely. Did you know slate rock is composed of clay and volcanic ash? And a small, smooth piece of the slate rock was traditionally framed in wood, used with chalk as a notebook or notice board, and especially for recording charges in pubs and inns. That's where the phrases like clean slate and blank slate come from. So the slate rock is totally dry, and we're going to start out today and just use a paper towel that I've wadded up here. I'm going to show you how to take gesso. We use black, white, and gray gesso. So we'll just take our little paper towel, and I'm going to dip the paper towel right into the little bit of gesso, and let's go right up here. First thing we want to do is figure out where our light source is. Start with the lightest area and begin working outward. See? Maybe this is the joy of paper towel painting. There, but you want this to be your brightest area in the painting. So we'll just start from there and we work outward, outward, outward. Isn't that fantastic? These color gessos are just unbelievable. They do wonderful things for you. They open whole new doors of imagination. There we go. Notice I've always start back in the center with the brightest color, and if you get little build-ups of gesso here, that's wonderful. When the painting's finished, those little high points will grab the painting. It makes beautiful things happen. And once again, with this gesso, we don't make any mistakes, because if you paint an area too light and you don't like it, all you have to do is take a little of the dark gesso and go back over it. It's no big deal. Alright, a little bit of the gray here and there, cause I want this to be a little darker out on the edges so that it looks like we have sunlight in the center and it's working outward. So I'm just going to use a little bit of the gray gesso right over the top. So if you don't like it, if it's too bright or too dull, you can change it as easy, because that really is your world. Now I'll just show you how to go about putting the next layer on. Now this takes a very complicated tool. This is called a foam brush. That's all it is. It's just a little disposable foam brush. Now where we have the light area, I'm gonna use black gesso. Where we have the dark area, I will use white gesso and gray in the middle. So let's start and do some little background trees. I'll take this little foam brush and go through a little bit of the black gesso, just load it up like so, okay? And we can go up in here. All you do is touch, and as you work down, apply more pressure, and automatically your tree trunk will get larger toward the base. And trees normally look better if they're bigger on the bottom. Zoom. There we go. You just put in as many or as few trees as you want in your world. That's all there is to it. There's no secrets here. Now I'm going to start going into some of the gray gesso, because these over here, they're further away from the light. So when we're done, the gray gesso will be a little bit brighter and we can go right into a pure white. See the variation? That's all there is to it. Maybe we'll just do a couple of white ones here so you can see how they're done. We've painted the whole forest here in just a second. You just sort of work back and forth and wherever you want them to go. Maybe over here on this side, maybe here's an old tree that's got a yonk in it, a little crook in it. Trees aren't all straight. Some of them have old crooked areas. It doesn't matter. Now I've got a little script liner brush. It's just one regular script liner brush. I'm going to use water like we normally do, paint thinner, just to thin out the gesso so it's nice and thin. Then we go up in here. There's always little baby trees living amongst all these big ones, so we can put little delicate trees and sticks and twigs. If you have enough water, this will just slide right over it. There. And we can begin applying all kinds of little limbs, arms on these trees, wherever you think there should live. Already it's beginning to look like it's deep in the woods. So this is an excellent way to study value, just black and white. This is a lot more fun, a lot easier. And back in here, pretty soon, you don't even know where these little limbs and arms, who they belong to. It's just filler for the background. And as you work across over into here, and you get into the white trees, then you'll use white gesso to make its arms. About like that. I'll put a few on these old tree here, just a old crooked limb, just so we can see what he looks like. Give your trees character. Don't just make them perfect straight with arms that come out both sides. Let your brush just have an imagination all on its own. Let it go. As you play with this, you'll begin to shade areas. But that, I mean, you'll take a combination of gray and white and mix it together, and you can shade the side of the trees where you know light will be coming from. It's unreal what you can do with this. You can actually paint things like little barns or whatever with gesso, and then just come back and put a glaze basically over the top of them. It's that easy. Okay, let me just do one or two little white ones so you can see how they're done. Over here on this side, so you can just bring a little white arms right off of him. There we go. Now if you use your good liner brush for this, as soon as you're done, wash it. Well, with a good amount of water in it. Take a good care of your brushes. Another little thing, it's real good. Have some limbs going from over here where you don't know where they are, because the trees didn't just stop right there. Let some limbs come from over here. It doesn't matter from where, but it'll make your painting look more realistic. How you can make whole forest that easy. That's all there is to it. And the one that you see in the little opening, there's one big monster tree. Let's go back up in here, and I just used a foam brush to do this. Just figure out where he lives and go. He lives right there. I wanted him to come right across. These little disposable foam brushes work very good for this. It lives out here, one over here, we don't know. Wherever you want him. You can go back to your little liner brush, and once again you can add all the details that you want into your painting, because when you do yours, you're going to see it totally different. It's going to be much better than this one, because you'll have unlimited time and patience. In your imagination, you'll make beautiful things. I'm going to put transparent color over this pretty soon. Transparent and semi-transparent color makes beautiful, beautiful things. Now down here on the bottom, we're going to put some little indications. You could do it with paper towel. I'll just use this little foam brush. You can do it with anything. See there? Just gesso, just white gesso. I'm going into the same gray gesso, but I want the edges to be nice and bright. It's up to you where you want these things to live. Back into the gray so it gets a little duller. Here and there, we can even take a little black. Just play these back and forth so you get all this beautiful variation. Maybe right in there. Doesn't matter. You can use the brush any way you want to, sideways, straight on, and each way will create new, unique effects. Now maybe we want to put a little path in there. I'm using a little black and a little gray mixed together, and figure out where the path lives, and just take this little foam brush and basically lay it in. See there? That's all. I want the front of it to be darker than up there because it would be closer to the light source. About like that. Okay, I think we'll pretty much show us how to do the little background. As I say, I would like it to let it dry between each and every layer. So allow me to step out for a second and let this slate dry. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of the clear medium glaze and cover the entire slate rock. Just enough to be sure that they covered from one end to the other, but a thin coat. Once again, allow your gesso to dry completely before you do this because you cannot mix paints and gesso together while you're painting. You have to let the gesso dry in between. There. This is the hardest part of the whole painting. If you can get the glaze on, the rest of it's easy. Okay, I'm just using long horizontal and vertical strokes to assure that it's distributed across the slate evenly. I'm gonna go right into a small amount of the blue. Very little paint's required for this painting. You can always add more. Let's go up here. Start at the top, and all we're doing in reality is putting a glaze right over the top of the gesso. Isn't that fantastic? This makes some of the most gorgeous little paintings, and they're wonderful to do for friends and family because they'll just be amazed at how fast they happen. There, the medium glaze is one of the neatest things we've ever come up with. It really does work. Now, isn't that gorgeous? It's a deep blue. Alright, I want to take yellow. Once again, you need very little paint. Yellow is transparent. Well, just cover the whole thing. It doesn't matter. Like so with yellow, but notice we intentionally let a little of the blue come down. The reason is because we touch it now with the yellow, it's going to create a greenish cast. Now if you want it bright green, you could use the other green, which is a very transparent green, or you could allow more blue to come down, either way. Now I'm gonna take some of the alizarin and crimson and sap green mix in together. A little more of the crimson and sap. I want it the reddish side. Okay, take a little bit of the 2-inch brush and to that. Let's start at the base. I want this to be the darkest. So we'll just start here and work upward. But isn't that gorgeous? I'm gonna pull a little bit of the color up so it looks like there's some of the tree trunks. Sneaky, huh? Let's make this brighter, like the sun. You know, when you walk through the woods, you can see the sun in the background, and it just burns through the trees. It's so bright. Sometimes you can't hardly even make out the tree trunks. Figure out where the sun lives up in here. In my world, I think it's right behind this limb here. Start right over the limb, because over again, to me, when you look at the sun that bright, it's like it just burns right through the tree branch and you can't see it. But just go right over it. Look at that sun coming through. For a long time I wanted to make effects like this, but I didn't really know how to do it and make it look right. Now anybody can do it, and in your world you should be able to do anything you want to do. Alright, you have to decide how bright the sun is and how far it goes. Totally and completely up to you, but looky there, it's so bright it almost hurts the eyes. See the light coming right through those trees? Isn't that exciting? I've painted thousands of paintings, and I'm sorry I get so excited about this, but it amazes me how beautiful this works. You make the decision, but that easy. You can have a painting that's just absolutely unreal. Then it's just a matter of going back, and you can add in all kinds of little details that you want. You know, a little squirrel. By the way, this is Peapod in my pocket. He's my pocket squirrel. Good time to paint little squirrel in here. Anything else that you want. It's up to you. You have to make that decision. When you do it, experiment a little. You'll find all kinds of wonderful things that you can do. Let's take a little bit of red, and I'm gonna sign this little rascal. We'll sign it up here so you can see it. With that, I think we about have a finished painting. I really hope you try this one, and I'd love it if you'd send me a photo of what you do, because it's unbelievable some of the pictures we're getting, and people are doing fantastic things. Until I hear from you, I'd like to wish you a happy painting, and God bless, my friend.